this tutorial, I will show you how to solve a quadratic by completing the squares. So we are going to start off with this quadratic. X squared plus 5x minus 3 equals 0. And the first thing you need to ask yourself is this in the formula, the form that I need to actually work with? And there are two things that have to be true. You need to have a leading coefficient that's equal to 1, and you need to have your x squared and x terms on one side of the equal sign and your constant on the other. So it looks like over here we're almost there. We do have a leading coefficient of 1, meaning the coefficient in front of x squared is 1, but our constant term is over here with the x squareds and x's, so we need to add 3 to each side. So if we start off with x squared plus 5x equals 3, and I leave a little gap there because we're going to complete the square. This is in the form that we need it to be in. So what we need to add to each side, so add it here and here, we take our b value, divide it in half or divide it by 2 and square it. So here if I look at 5, we have 5 divided by 2 squared. And that's going to be 6.25. So I add 6.25 here and I add it over here. The whole point of this is so that we could have a completed square, meaning I could rewrite this as the square of a binomial. So something squared gives us x squared plus 5x plus 6.25. And what that always is, and I'll just kind of write it in the middle here, it's always going to be x plus whatever b divided by 2 was, the quantity squared. So for us, that's x plus b divided by 2 is 5 halves, so 5 over 2. You could write it as 2.25, that's fine. Squared, so I'm going to keep that 2 here, equals, and we're going to go ahead and combine the 3 plus 6.25 is 9.25. The reason that we're doing that is because now I have something being squared equaling a constant. I can technically solve this by square roots, which is what we learned in the previous section, section 10.4. So if I'm going to solve this by square roots, I take the square root of each side, so the square root over here and over here. So I'm left with x plus 5 halves equals both the positive and negative square root of 9.25. And finally, to get x by itself, we're going to take away the 5 halves, or the 2.5 on both sides. So this is, 5 halves over here. So our two answers end up being that x equals positive or negative square root of 9.25 minus 2.5. So in your calculator, you would do the positive 9.25, the square root of that, minus 2.5, and for that you're going to get 0.54. And then you would also have to do the negative square root of 9.25 minus 2.5, and for that you would get negative 5.54. So your two solutions are positive 0.54 and negative 5.54.